It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply.
The crown grows heavy. Illness, duty, and the beginning of change. Prince William has always been seen as a calm and responsible man, someone who grew up under the watchful eyes of the world, always being told he would be king one day. But even though he was raised to carry the weight of the crown, no one is ever truly prepared when the moment starts to arrive sooner than expected. Everything changed when King Charles, William's father, was diagnosed with cancer. The announcement came in early 2024. It was meant to be calm and reassuring. But the message was clear. After a routine hospital procedure for an enlarged prostate, doctors had found a form of cancer. Though the palace didn't reveal exactly what type, they confirmed Charles had already begun treatment and would be stepping away from most public duties. For the public, it was a shock. For the royal family, it was a signal that the future was no longer far away. It was right at the doorstep. Behind closed doors, it was Princess Anne, King Charles's only sister, who stepped forward as a quiet but powerful force. Anne is known for her hard work, discipline, and no-nonsense attitude. She has always served the crown without needing attention. While many royals give interviews and speeches, Anne prefers to get the job done silently. As Charles's health declined, Anne took on more duties. She began representing the monarchy at important events, both in the UK and abroad. But it wasn't just her public actions that mattered. Sources say that Anne became Charles's most trusted confidant during this difficult time. Their relationship has always been close, born just 2 years apart. They were raised together and understood each other in ways others didn't. It's said that during one of their private conversations, Charles made a final request, one that would not be written in any document or official will. It was emotional, human, and heartfelt. And Charles asked Anne to deliver that message to Prince William. When Anne passed on the message to William, something in him changed. Though no one knows the exact words, those close to the palace say it had a deep emotional impact. Maybe it was a request for William to forgive his brother Harry. Maybe it was a plea to protect the monarchy at all costs. Or perhaps it was a final reminder from a father to his son, telling him to carry the burden with strength and grace. Whatever the message was, it hit William like a wave. He continued to appear in public, shaking hands and giving speeches. But his smile didn't reach his eyes anymore. His body language showed signs of pressure. He looked distant, as if carrying a pain he couldn't speak about. This wasn't just the weight of responsibility, it was the beginning of a slow emotional collapse. And it all started with one final request delivered by the one royal Charles trusted most: Princess Anne, a family in crisis, Princess Catherine's battle, Camilla's role, and a missing brother, while William was already dealing with his father's illness and the new weight of royal duty. Another heartbreaking moment arrived. In March 2024, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, revealed that she too had been diagnosed with cancer. After weeks of public silence and growing speculation about her absence, she released a video message explaining that she was receiving treatment and asking for privacy. Her calm voice masked the seriousness of the situation, but anyone watching could feel the sadness in her words. For William, this was another blow. In a short period, he had gone from being a prince in preparation to a man standing in for the king, all while supporting a wife who was now fighting her own battle. He paused his duties. He disappeared from the public eye for several weeks to be with his wife and children. And when he finally returned, it was clear something had changed in him. At a charity event, cameras caught him smiling, but experts noted how tense and quiet he looked. His shoulders seemed heavier. His eyes didn't light up like they used to. This was a man carrying the weight of a kingdom and the pain of a husband watching his loved one suffer, while William held the spotlight. Princess Anne remained active behind the scenes. Her strength has always been quiet. She never demanded attention, but everyone within the palace walls knew that she was holding things together. And then there was Queen Camilla, silent, composed, but very much present. Camilla had spent decades in the shadows of controversy, but had become a key figure in Charles's life and now in the royal family's emotional balance. Though she did not speak publicly about the king's condition, she kept attending events, always calm and collected. She wasn't just showing up for appearances, she was likely managing internal tensions that others didn't even notice. Many royal experts believe she was the bridge between Charles, Anne, and William, ensuring that emotions didn't explode during such a fragile time. Camilla had no claim to future power, but her role as a stabilizing force made her essential. At the same time, one important figure remained missing: Prince Harry, once William's closest companion. Harry had moved to the United States with Meghan Markle and had been separated from the royal family both emotionally and physically, though he made a brief visit to the UK earlier in the year. There was little sign of real reconciliation. William was facing one of the hardest seasons of his life: his father ill, his wife in treatment, the monarchy uncertain, and his brother, who had once walked beside him through every storm, was nowhere near. That absence wasn't just a media story, it was personal. For William, it meant standing alone in a time when he needed family more than ever. King Charles is believed to have kept hopes for peace with Harry alive, but if his final request had anything to do with reconciliation, it clearly had not yet worked. William, now surrounded by silence where his brother once stood, had to carry the emotional and public burden on his own. The cracks were starting to show, not in public scandal or failure, but in quiet exhaustion and the kind of grief that has no words, holding it all together: sibling bonds, future fears, and the unspoken transition as the king's health struggles continue and Catherine focuses on healing. Prince William is being pushed further into the role of leader, whether he feels ready or not. Every time he steps out in public now, commentators note how he carries himself with more seriousness, more formality. He's referred to in the press as the future king in action, and at events like the D-Day commemorations, his presence seemed almost royal in every way. But behind those appearances is a man who hasn't had time to grieve. He hasn't had time to rest. His father is still sick. His wife is still fighting. His children are growing up fast, and he's expected to keep going like nothing has changed. But everything has changed. The crown is not yet on his head, but it's already on his shoulders. The bond between King Charles and Princess Anne has played a quiet but powerful role in this story. As siblings, they were raised with the same expectations, the same pressures. Charles was born to be king. Anne was not, but she has always taken her role just as seriously. Her loyalty, her honesty, and her strength have helped guide Charles through past scandals, through the loss of their parents, and now through illness. If Charles had one person he could trust with his final wishes, it was Anne, and if Anne had to deliver that message to William, whatever it may have been, then she did so with full understanding of its weight. Anne and William are different people. They come from different generations, but both believe in duty. And that belief may be the only thing holding the royal family together right now. As the monarchy stands at this emotional crossroads, one thing is clear: we are not witnessing a single dramatic moment of collapse. We are watching a slow crumble, a quiet shift from one era to another. Queen Elizabeth II held the family together. For decades, her loss was the beginning of the transition. Charles was expected to take over smoothly, but his illness has made that impossible. Now the burden has passed to William, and he is being shaped not by celebration but by grief, silence, and pressure. Princess Anne continues to steady the ship. Queen Camilla holds the emotional balance, but it is William who must now lead. And the cost of that responsibility is written across his face, in the way his eyes drift during interviews, in the way his appearances are carefully spaced, in the way his family circle has grown smaller. He's not just preparing to be king. He is learning what it truly means to carry the crown. And in those quiet moments between duties, speeches, and family care, it's clear that he's collapsing in the only way a royal can, silently, invisibly, and under the crushing weight of everything that's changed, the silent future of the monarchy. Holding on and letting go as Prince William carries the growing responsibilities of a king in waiting, there's another story playing out behind the palace walls, one that speaks not just of present burdens but of the uncertain future that lies ahead. What happens when tradition collides with change? When personal pain meets national expectations? These are the questions William now lives with every single day, while public attention often falls on the grand ceremonies, smiling walkabouts, and polished speeches. The real pressures are quieter and far more relentless. William isn't just the heir anymore. He's the man many believe is already acting as the symbolic monarch. At every event he attends without his father, at every engagement his wife cannot appear beside him. The public begins to accept something silently. The torch is passing. This unspoken transition hasn't happened overnight. It's been slow, subtle, and full of emotional weight. The monarchy doesn't only change with official announcements. It also shifts in the hearts and minds of the people. And now, when viewers see William on their screens, they don't just see a prince, they see a future king under pressure, a father who barely has time to breathe, a husband trying to smile while his partner battles cancer, a son who may soon lose his father to illness and may have already lost his brother to distance. One of the deepest tragedies in all of this is the loneliness that leadership brings. King Charles, for all his faults, has always valued family. He kept the door open for Prince Harry long after others shut it. But that door has remained unopened, and for William, that means facing the future without the one person who once walked every path with him. Childhood memories of Harry beside him at Diana's funeral. The brothers comforting each other in their darkest hour, those feel far away now. In their place is silence, distance, and perhaps regret. And William must carry on alone. At the same time, his relationship with Princess Anne grows more important. And isn't the warmest figure in the family, but she is consistent, steady. She doesn't speak often, but when she does, her words carry weight. It's very likely that King Charles's final request wasn't just about duties, it was also about trust. Trusting Anne to help William manage the inevitable. Trusting her to be the quiet force that steadies the family as they face another possible funeral, another reshuffling of roles, and the emotional toll that comes with becoming Britain's next king. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla remains the emotional shield for King Charles. While she has rarely been the center of public affection, her role within the family has always been crucial. She knows how to hold things together, not with grand speeches, but with quiet presence. As Charles's health worsens, Camilla is the one who will likely support him through the final days, all while preparing William behind the scenes for the day the crown officially becomes his. She has walked beside Charles through scandal, divorce, and public judgment. Now she quietly supports him through the most personal chapter of all, letting go. What happens next remains uncertain. Will Charles recover enough to return to public life, even briefly? Will Harry ever return in time to stand beside his brother again? Will the public rally behind a new monarch shaped more by heartbreak than ceremony? One thing is certain, the royal family is changing. And Prince William, whether he's ready or not, is becoming the face of that change. Not through titles or announcements, but through pain, pressure, and quiet resilience. The collapse the world may never see is already happening behind the royal smiles. And in the silence of the palace corridors, the next era is already being written, a king in the making, forged by silence and sacrifice. As we look at everything Prince William has faced in the past year, his father's cancer diagnosis, his wife's painful health battle, his brother's continued absence, and the increasing weight of royal duties, it becomes clear that this isn't just a chapter in his life, it's a transformation, a turning point. The slow and emotional shaping of a future king. This isn't the fairy tale version of a prince becoming king. There are no golden carriages or joyful coronations here. What we're witnessing is something much more human, a man breaking under. The weight of love, duty, and loss, all while being watched by millions. Behind every public smile, behind every carefully written speech, lies a heart quietly crumbling under the pressure. And yet, William continues to show up. He continues to lead, even when he may not feel ready. The crown has always been more than just a symbol. It's a responsibility, a burden, and sometimes a sacrifice. Queen Elizabeth wore it with unshakable strength for over 70 years. King Charles prepared his whole life to take it on, only to be stopped in his tracks by illness. And now, before William ever formally wears it, he's already living what it means to be king through moments of uncertainty, through personal pain and through quiet sacrifice that no headline can truly explain. In the midst of all this, 1. Final message delivered by Princess Anne from a father to his son may have changed everything. We may never know exactly what was said, but perhaps it wasn't the words that mattered most. Perhaps it was the moment itself, a moment where love, legacy, and trust were passed from one generation to the next in the most human way possible. And now, Prince William carries that moment with him every single day. As the cameras flash, as speeches are made, and as expectations grow heavier, he is slowly stepping into a role he never asked to begin so soon. But there is strength in how he carries that burden. Quiet strength, the kind that doesn't need applause. The kind that was once found in his grandmother. The kind that defines true leadership. So, what does the future hold for the royal family? Will they remain united? Will healing ever come between the brothers? Will King Charles return to the spotlight, or is this truly the beginning of a new era? These answers may take time. But one thing is clear, the crown is already moving, and Prince William is already holding it not on his head, but in his heart. This is not the story of a dramatic fall. It's the story of a quiet rise one shaped by tears, by love, by duty, and by the invisible scars of sacrifice.